Hello everybody, it's TechStack here. Hey guys, guess what? We found a serious bug with the mod, and that's what we're about to do today. Trying to figure out how to solve this. What? What, Reaper?
First.
You are technically first, I guess, but not first in chat, just in voice. Haha!
Darn it.
Unless you hurry, because no one said anything yet. Ah, you're late. Take your boat beat you. Being
It's
able
not
to...
fair. I got chicken in my mouth.
Okay then. Being able to jump in Discord's an unfair advantage though. Not everybody can do that.
I don't care. Being real mature.
So bad news, guys. There's a bug. Hey Space Engineers, hey Eagle. We had a problem today. That problem was the way Minecraft works, basically. So if I were to spawn in this, right? This is a tile entity block, and these two targets are entities, like a mob, right? And if I were to fly way over there and come back, the order in which they're loaded is a problem. And it's a problem because there's no way to predict when the entities, the targets, will be loaded. And the way that I was having this work up until today was this block would say, hey, entity number 345, how much health do you have? Hey, entity 123, how much health do you have? Add them together, and that's how much health this whole structure would have. That works great until you go away and come back. As soon as you do that, the block loads in before the two entities on the sides, and those entities, because they're not there, it assumes that they've died. Right? And if they've died, it gets 0 health for this one, and 0 health for this one because they're not loaded, and the whole structure disappears because it realizes, hey, I'm dead, I should disappear now. That's annoying. Now, you might think, like, that is one option, Reaper, chunk loaders. However, if we want a bigger map, then chunk loading is not really an option. I thought about waiting, right? But the problem is, we don't know exactly what chunk a thing will be in, right? So this chunk might be loaded, and this chunk might not be loaded. That's a problem, right? Because if I'm coming from this direction, it loads chunks around the player, right? And this one might be close enough to be loaded, and that one may not, right? So that's one scenario. Another scenario is, I believe the way Minecraft loads things is it loads all the blocks first, and then later, when you move even another chunk closer, that's when it starts to load entities. So if it's on the very edge of your loaded world, the blocks will be there, but the entities won't, and there's no amount of time that will fix that if the player's not moving in a straight line towards that thing, right? Because I did try, okay, wait for a whole second, I did 20 ticks, right? Before you try and ask the entities for how much health they have so that they have time to load in, right? Didn't work. Still had the same issue. So now what I've done is I've flipped things, right? So instead of this tile entity keeping track of this entity and this entity, I've made the entities say my owner is over here for both of them. Hey, Blowstone. And when the entity gets damaged, it says, hey, block, I just took damage, and this is how much damage I took. Damage yourself. And that's why the whole thing just disappeared when I punched it there. That system should work because the block is not trying to maintain its health based on the entities. So if the entities aren't there, it doesn't care. I still have a bug in this, however, because as you just seen, both of these are still alive. I only punched this thing once and it broke, right? So that's not right. Now there should be a couple of these things here. But if I go, it's breaking. We don't want that. I think what I need to do is when I'm spawning these in, I need to tell it to get this much health from both of these entities, right? And that's what we're about to do. So this is the code where we're spawning in the whole structure. We find that block, and we're setting the owner of the entities to be that block. What we also need to do is capture the entity's health, add it all up, and outside of this loop, assign that to the tile entity. So, int health. Everybody's jumping for the stars. Health equals 0 for beginning. Add in an area with tree on each side to mine. Baby mine. Also the tree works. It's a blind spot for each base's right side. Do what with the trees? So you're not actually gonna... We don't actually get trees.
What was that?
We're not actually gonna harvest trees directly.
Don't you need still a tree so one would stand there and like hit it?
No.
No?
No. We don't need trees at all. There you go.
Never mind then.
So trees, how we get wood is there needs to be an oak log on that flat surface in the ground, basically. We put the lumberyard on those spots. Now, we can have trees for decoration. There's no problem with that. But there needs to be room for this thing to spawn in next to those oak logs that are in the ground. Just like the ores need to be in the ground. Not like underground, but on the surface. And I'll show you in the Minecraft here in a minute.
That's what I remember after I had finished making the mine, so...
Okay. Now, you could make it so that we go underground to get to the mines. That's fine. But there needs to be a flat area inside that mine that's open and big enough for the structure to be spawned in. That's okay. Like, we can use the 3D space that is Minecraft for this strategy game. T-list.get I dot health get... When am I going to get off streaming today? I never have a set time, unfortunately. I try and stop by like 9 o'clock, but it never happens. Got something in mind? Get health. There we go. And then down here we say controller dot set health. I don't have it really. This is on the... Okay. Yeah, like, you can chat with me whenever, man. I've read part of it. I read down through... Well, I'll tell you later. I read the story. I like the story. I just didn't have time to read it last night. Okay, so this is because it's this class, but we needed to check it for the other one. Oh, you're fine. So we need to cast this to yet another kind. Okay, so if this is an instance of own cooldown tile entity, because those are the ones with health, then what? Then what? We cast it, owned cooldown tile entity OCTE to from O. Cooldown tile entity controller. Okay, so now we can say OCTE. Yeah. Look how much grief Minecraft got until it had an ending for not having. Yeah, exactly. Okay, health. There we go. Oh, no, set health. Dang it. Set health. Health. I guess we need to make this a float, don't we? And everything should be happy, happy, happy. Yep, cool. Let's run this. So if this works, in theory, and this might have some bugs still because I was making this code kind of on the fly, we should be able to spawn in the structure. It should be able to damage. It should go through its damage states, right? So the, what's it called? The town center, right, should damage to its 50% and then go to its 0%. The thing should be able to maintain that it's halfway damaged if we go away from it and come back. Because I also added the saving of its attributes to MBT data, which is Minecraft's way of saving stuff for blocks. Come on, load the game. Okay, let's just do a different structure because I don't want to have to break that thing every time. Okay, there it is. Get some damage potions. It's kind of the best way to kill these things in creative. Quickly. Game mode or time. Time set day. Game rule. Do daylight cycle false. Weather clear. That's clear weather? Look kind of crappy out. Okay. Next one should be a perfect. Now those need to flash too. That's something I need to add to my to-do list long term. They need to show that they're taking damage, right? And they're not right now. It didn't go to its 0 state, did it? That's weird. I'm not sure why. It just went full damaged. Okay, that one wasn't working because we reloaded the world without it having saved properly, probably. So let's try this, and boom. Now if we do...
The worst thing is I can't read any of it.
Hey, Tech,
Yes.
does an armor stand have health?
I don't believe it's an entity, like a living entity. I think it's an entity, but not a
well,
living
like-
one.
Even a
So
hit
no.
point aspect of it.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong. If it does have health, it's a different health mechanic for it because it doesn't drop XP. It's just very, very different than any other living entity.
Yeah. How hard would it be to make a block that does continue to have health? Or that contains health?
Oh, armor stands are not blocks.
Okay.
They're entities as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, if that's what you're thinking, that we could use that to fix the problem, it's not gonna. Because they're not. They're not
living.
They're not living, but they're entities, they're not blocks.
Okay.
See how it's got a bounding box? And if I were to, I think if you take a rail and a cart, doesn't it pick it up? I don't know if it does or not. It doesn't. You can move it though. See how it got moved out of the way?
Yep.
Like, what I'm going for should work once we get the bugs out of it, though. Why did it not die? Let's just try it again. And watch. Oh, we've got 2 of these open. That's not good. Doom is having all sorts of problems with the mod, he thinks.
Doom.
In the Minecraft mod channel, he's posting stuff to GitHub and the bot's picking it up, putting it on. He's creating issues.
Okay, who's Doom?
He's the person that's making the issues on GitHub.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what mod. Because.
The machine mod. It says on the link.
Oh. Okay. So what is Doom working on?
No, he's reporting issues. He thinks he found a bug, so he's reporting it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
mean-
like the XP collector after it reaches 4,000 experience or so.
No way it's
Or it takes
4,000.
to 0.
No way it's 4,000 because I had it over like 200,000 just in my testing on the first day.
Well, Tinkerbell was sitting over there, and all of a sudden it goes in reverse.
That I can see happening, but not at 4,000. So I'm saying it's probably like 4 million or something. That or it's just a graphical bug.
It might be, well, it wouldn't be a graphical bug because otherwise you would be able to grab experience out of it even if it was negative.
By graphical bug, I mean the client knows, or the server knows how much it actually has, but it's being trimmed by the fact that it's sending to the client a smaller sized number, like the number of bytes used. In which case, the client only knows about the smaller byte size of that number, even though the server is still happy and has the big number.
Then it goes in reverse of whatever is missing, and that's how you end up with that number.
Yeah, once you overflow a digit in programming, it goes over to the byte that represents the negative value.
Yeah.
This feels wrong, but I think this is right. Like, both of these should die, and then this whole thing should just disappear. It didn't die that time, but the thing's gone. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at something. Maybe we're rounding because of integers versus floats versus whatever. So our health value that we're getting from the mob is a float. We're getting the health. We are setting that health with a float. We're getting it with a float. Is prior health a float? It is. Okay, let's look at the event. So that was how I captured the damage, is in this event. So it looks to see if it's our target entity that's taking damage, and if it is, it gets the amount. And that is a float as well. And it's taking our health minus the damage. Alright, that is the damage. The amount of the damage, yep. Okay, let's get rid of some of these log messages and add new ones in other spots that make more sense now. So we can get rid of that and that. Okay, and in our builder, on the utilities, okay. tsrts.logger.info. Health set to plus health. Okay, and then in the damage event, damage event.get amount. Okay, let's clear this log. Okay, now we can spawn a new one in. And in the log, we set it to 40. Let's do this as well. We're gonna, after we say how much we damaged it by, we're gonna give a little bit of an audit trail here. Hey, Spider-Man. You missed us yesterday. Remaining health plus that. So now if I throw my splash potion at this thing, damaged for 12, it's now got 28. Oh, no worries. Don't apologize for homework. That's way more important than watching a silly stream. So we took away another 12. That left us with 16. That's 16. Ah, okay. So that's what I was afraid of. I think he showed up on my stream once and sounded like a troll, if I remember right. Like he came in and just said something nasty right off the bat.
Hi.
Not you, Reaper. Different troll. Damage for 9 down to 7. Okay, so that's what I was afraid of. So the damaging can be more than the entity can take. And because of that, we're giving it too much damage. Okay, so what we need to do instead is do a math helper dot what is it? Dot floor, no. Oh, nice. You won your science fair? Clamp, that's the number I'm looking for. Think. No. We're just going to do it in an if statement instead. So we're going to say if damage amount is less than or equal to event dot get entity dot get living. That way we can just do get health. Okay, so if it's less than or equal to, we're just going to do a full amount of damage. So we're going to say float damage amount equals 0 by default, and then we're going to set it in this case to be the full amount. But if that damage amount that the entity's trying to take is more than its total health, we're just going to get the amount of the health that it has left and put that to the damage instead. Else. Hey, Sammy. There we go. And then we say damage amount in here. And let's go ahead and kill this one. We're going to clear our list then. Okay, so it's set to 40. It took 12, there's 28 left. It took 8. And there's 20 left because each one had 20. Perfect. Okay, now that's probably what was wrong with the big block then. You can certainly duel with them, right? And if they win, they'll get the gold. I'm not sure if you can just straight up give it though. I believe there's... No. I type it right. That might give us a link of all the commands. Yeah. So if you click on that, it shows you all the commands you can do. Well, it shows you all the commands that can be done, not necessarily ones you can do. Like, I'm the only one that can start the battle royals and stuff. So give. Currency give, such and such, an amount. There you go. Gives 500 currency that you own to the user. Okay, so let's down and spawn a town hall again. Oop. And let's try and kill this thing and see if it works. Okay, what did that tell us? Took 2 damage in that last one. It's down to 139. We started at 159. Kind of a weird number, isn't it? 159. Not that it matters. We're going to change how much the health amounts are later. I took the damage already. Hit the building. Wonder if any of those are saying 0 amount damaged. Yep. Nope. 8.0. Okay. And this one should, in theory... why is it going all the way out? Yeah, so not everything is set up 100%. There's no colors.
Okay, Tech.
Yeah.
You remember Home Alone 2?
Yeah.
Do you remember what Ernie McAllister spent on room service?
The amount? No.
Yeah.
Or what he bought it on.
$997.36.
Okay.
We just finished watching it.
Oh. Why is Rebel not working? Goes straight into clear. Yeah, not even a second later. Is that Rebel amount? No. is the only place it's touching it. Okay, let's just put a marker there. I'm gonna kill this thing again. I mean, we don't have like a green spider and a red spider and a blue spider. We just have the spider. So that's why it gave you that message saying there's no colors. So that's what I was saying. That's the list of possible commands. It doesn't mean that they're all going to work and they're set up. Okay, and we're waiting on this now. It's at 0. How is it 0 immediately? When this thing's created, it should be set to 20 times 30, which should be 600. Oi! Okay, let's do call hierarchy on this. It's private, so it shouldn't be anywhere, but this is driving me bonkers. Okay, so we're using it there, and we're using it in read and write. And write doesn't modify it. Read does, but this shouldn't have been used at all. We'll put a marker there. Where else in tick is it set? Just that one spot. It's okay, man. It's like it's been in the rubble stage longer than it has. Right? Okay, let's just run. It kills itself when this happens, so it should be fairly quick to yeah, recover from. Not a lot of breakpoints there. And it's going to spawn in, so it is reading in the rebel timer. Huh. But it's... I just figured it out. Because we're using the structures, the state of those structures is being saved. Or it's not being saved, right? Because we don't have this version on the server. I might need to get a version like this onto the server in order for this to work.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump on Discord here, so I'll
Okay.
catch you later, Tech.
Later, man.
Bye.
Bye, Eagle.
Hey, CZ. To do, add back the rubble timer after these are all scanned. Congratulations, Spooter, man. That's a big accomplishment. It's hard to get that many initially. So let's kill all of this. CZ, I have the push method working. But I'm running into a bug now where, now that I'm saving the status of this block and loading it in, when we spawn the structure in, it's loading in the status and can't find some of the variables. So it's setting them to 0, and it's causing all sorts of fun problems. Like it immediately goes to rubble. Like that. But with what I just did, or I'm sorry, the rubble disappears completely immediately. What I just did there, I'm no longer loading that in until we can update the server with new scans. So we just need to go in and hit scan again or save or whatever the button is. After we get the new version of the mod that will save these attributes with it. Yay, right? There we go. That is the problem then. 38 subscribers isn't bad. You're just getting started. You could be like me and have been doing this for years and only have 700 some. Make sure it disappears. Here's what I'm waiting for. Then we should be good. Okay, cool. Now the next thing, can we place one in? Can we place one of these in? And let's restart the world altogether first off, because there's a different bug altogether of why my team attribute resources are not showing at the top on the status bar, and I haven't tried to even look into that one. What the heck, Stream Deck? Right in the middle of the stream, huh? Don't care. Make myself known. Okay, let's load this in. We're gonna kill that one that we just had. Hopefully it'll die, because we've basically ran it out to disk and back by closing Minecraft and restarting. So I'm gonna go on Team Yellow, and it's still doing the thing. We might have to figure that bug out sooner than later. Shoot, there's no way for me to know if it's working. So let's try barracks instead. That's the wrong barracks. The heck? There we go. It's yellow somehow. Thought we picked blue. Team list yellow. Okay, I guess I'm yellow. Oh no, we need the resources. Dang it. I knew adding resources was going to be a pain. How can I tell if this is working or not? Like, I need to know if this is going to continue to be on my team after I walk away and come back. Okay, let's slash kill myself. At hey, sure, everything. Okay, let's go blue. Start, because blue is not the default color of the structures and entities, right? That's like the fallback color. So now, if we go and spawn in a barracks, is it going to be blue? It is. Those aren't. Is that new? That might be new. So let's look at our utilities code here. Set owning position, set owner, yeah, I had that in there before. Oopsie. So utilities, and it's in here. There you go. So now, let's kill this. Feeling sick, oh no. Okay, so let's spawn a new one of these things then. Now they're blue. So now if I were to go and fly this direction, super fast, till that part of the world's unloaded, and come back, and hopefully I'm flying in the right direction. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I am. They are yellow. Yeah, that could be one of two things. It could be I don't know what that entity is, or it didn't save properly. Okay, I'm on a team. This should be over here with that gray background. This should be at the top. Let's sort that out first. So I guess tonight's going to be bugs like crazy, figuring them all out, because it is a problem for us. Render overlay, what the heck? Okay, Sammy, thanks for stopping by. So we're binding the texture there. And we are rendering that here. And that has no weight on whether or not it's a team or not. The texture we're binding is called texture, which is the overlay texture, which should be that long strip that's at the top of the screen. Then we get the resources. Let's see, resource length. Ah, that's also used to calculate our X position, whether or not there's a resource value. Okay. So are we getting down into this piece of code? We are not. Are we getting into this code at all? We are. So where does it stop at? Ah. The team info map is blank. Okay, what's the call hierarchy on that? Where are we clearing that out and why? On load, we're clearing it out. I don't know, Reaper. It's gonna be really hard to tell if something's big enough or not. So for the stream, this is what Reaper put in Discord just now. Like, how big is that area of from side to side? Right here.
Give me a second, let me...
Okay.
It's about 150 blocks. 150 by 150.
For the outside of the cross, for like from
Just
here
that
to
little
there,
square.
or the little square.
Too small, right?
It might be too small, yeah. You probably have to go to your channel settings. Once I block somebody, I've never tried to unblock them because I'm pretty intent on that they should stay blocked. So let's get to this piece of the code and figure out why we're not getting a team on this. I have a feeling we're clearing it and it's not getting added back in there, possibly because it doesn't recognize that there's a team there yet. Which is weird. Might be a loading order thing. Oh, gotta run the game. Okay, so we can get out of that breakpoint. How's that be going? Okay, so now close this, go back in. It will trigger the load world. And it did. And we've successfully cleared it. Now we're going to try and add it back in. Interesting. It did successfully add it back in. Are we on the client side? We're on the server side right now. Okay, so we're going to run through this. Still on the server side. Still on the server side? Why is it doing it so many times, the onload event? Now we're on the client side. So this is the event. There's a phase to this. That's why there's so many. Okay. So let's look at that phase portion of this load event. So that's a world event, and the world event has that, and then it's got event as well. Phase. Event priority. Oh, okay, so that's not what we want. This happens on the client. Do we want this to happen on the client? Does this? It does. Send team to client. We're doing this event, and the handler for that puts the team into the map. So we only need to do this on the server, I think. If world is not remote. And this part we do want to do on the client so that it gets cleaned up, but the adding I don't think we need to do. And it's stuck. Okay. Okay, we've got a team now. That's cool. Let's remove all breakpoints for a moment. Okay, let's go out of it, go back in. It's gonna be hard to tell if I truly fixed the bug or if I just fixed it for now. It's still not rendering the thing right, is it? So let's undo this.
You can do it.
Figure out why. You think I can do it?
I believe you can do it. I believe you can do it. How does that the train do? How does that train sound? I believe I can. I believe I can.
I think I can. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that.
Change access using. Did I do the wrong thing there? I think I did. Wow. Those should have all been uppercase so it uses the static method. Holy crap. Beagle cannon raid tonight. Okay. Step over, step over, step over, step over, step into. You didn't have it in your list. Great. Okay, so that means is this packet getting sent to the client or not? Okay, let's check that out next. Ta-da! Work magically. You didn't work. Okay, that packet did not get received at the client side at all. That's interesting. So why is the question? Under utilities. This packet. To be in the event handler, that's where I need to go. Does this get ran? Whew. Come on, work. Send to client. Okay. Yet the packet handler never fired. Did we have that registered right? Send team info to client, blah blah blah. Mod network. We do. Gonna send it, send it, send it. Okay, it's trying to receive it. Okay, it's got into this piece of code. Is player null? It is not. Game name's red. Our hash map now has red. This is going to be the time it works successfully with no changes being made to it to make it work. It's got red and blue now. Big green, and there's yellow. And now it's actually displaying the resources, of course. So if we look, if it lets us look, we can see the bar at the top because it actually worked this time. That step through it again, yay! Doing the same thing over and over and getting different results, yay!
Insanity.
Exactly. But I'm actually getting different results, that's the thing. I don't expect it, it's just happening on its own. It's wonderful.
Insanity. It's insanity with a dis in the front, so it's this in the insanity.
Disanity.
Disanity.
I think I need to restart Minecraft altogether and run one more time and see if it works. I'm not going to call this all the way fixed though for about 2 weeks. It's one of those kind of bugs because it happens sometimes, and those are the worst ones to figure out. Are you still starting? Yes, you are. What is tonight? Wednesday? Oh, and Reaper, did you see that video I posted? Was that Spanish?
Which one?
In the general chat of this Discord, there was a YouTube video somebody made of the machine mod. And it's either Spanish or Portuguese or some other language that I don't know. Which is pretty much every language but English, but I know it's not Russian because it didn't sound Russian.
Okay, it is definitely not Spanish.
Okay. I would wager a bet that it's Portuguese then, because to me they sound very similar, even though they are not.
You know why they sound similar? Spanish and Portuguese?
Because they were close to each other?
They're both from descendants of the Latin.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, most of Southern America was conquered by Spanish, but Brazil was conquered by the Portuguese.
Ah.
So that's why they speak Portuguese.
Okay, so is that not working because of A or B? Farah, you need to get in here so I can explain the chunk loading problems we're having right at the moment.
I have no clue what language this guy is speaking.
Okay. I was just curious more than anything. Than really.
It's not Italian. I think it might be Portuguese. It sounds like it's something else though.
I didn't look at it on my computer, and I bet if I did, it probably would say in Google, like, do you want to translate this? No, Google, I don't. Ah, jeez. My phone thought I was talking to it. Okay, first off, let's make sure this one disappears. Yeah, any second now. Disappear now. Not disappear. Okay, good. Just as I was about to say it. Nope. The heck? What's going on? Let me place you. I heard something over there. Well, let's damage these till it's about to disappear. There we go. And TP dev to relative 10,000. So it's no longer chunk loaded. Wait a second. Go back. It's Portuguese. That's what I thought.
Portuguese is so weird.
Thank you, CC.
Do you think cactuses would get in the way of the tests?
Yeah, they'll stop things from spawning in if you want to spawn in. Like with what you're doing, we might as well just have a super flat world. You're just putting a wall around it.
Yeah, I'm just making it pretty.
Gotcha. So now let's see if I can damage this one to where it goes into its other state. Because we unloaded this and reloaded it. Yes! I think I got it finally. So the push method CZ is working instead of the pull method. Basically the issue is the way Minecraft loads things. You could have a couple different things going on, right? So for example, I don't have any of these crossing the border at the moment, but let's say that this target entity crossed this border and was actually right there, right? But the block that controlled everything was in this, and I was approaching it from this direction. That means that this chunk I'm standing in right now would load this block and that tile in it, or this entity, but never ever load that one that's over there across the border, right? Because just from the distance I am away, I've only loaded up to this point, right? That's one issue. The other issue is, and this is how I think Minecraft actually works, is the blocks get loaded at the very edge of your render distance, but entities do not get loaded. Right? So at the very edge, you're getting the blocks, and if you just stand there and wait and just, you know, don't move, the entities will load in however long it takes for you to load in the next chunk then. Right? So in that scenario, it could be minutes, hours, days, never before those entities are loaded in. Right? So to combat that, because I was thinking the same thing as you initially. Oh, let's just put a timer on it. When that timer expires, then let's look to see if they exist. They didn't always exist. Even after a full second or a full minute, it wouldn't matter, because there's scenarios where they would not be. So the solution to it is to have the entities track their own health, and when their health changes, that's when you tell the block that, hey, you need to change your health as well. And that's what I've got set up now. I don't know, and these aren't going to work because there's no entities there, there's no blocks there. And you can see I've got it set up pretty foolproof, where if the block should get destroyed some other way, it's not going to crash or anything. Like this one should be working when we spawn it in. So I think that takes care of the bugs that I wanted to address tonight, guys. This was kind of an unplanned bug fixing session, but this would have been very problematic for us on a Saturday. So let's quickly take a look and see what's next up on my to-do list and see if there's anything we can cross off in like 5-10 minutes or something. I doubt it, but let's give it a try. What's actions? There's something new. Create workflows to automatically build, test, and deploy, triage your issues, publish packages, and more. Did they have continuous integrations now? Do I no longer need a Jenkins server? I'll have to look at that later. That's cool. I'm pretty sure it's worked out. Well, you know, testing, right? But yeah, take your call. Go, man. Don't let them target their own team. Okay, yeah, that's something. Own structures. This is actually done. I did that as well when I was working on the MBT data saving. Startup resources we need to allocate. Startup items we need to do. Save team resources, etc. all to MBT. Also save ref to target entity IDs. That's done. So it's really these two. And then get more structures. Oh, on World Builder, we need to save the structures again with the current version of the mod that saves NBT data. So the, what was it called? Owner cooldown. Rubble time remaining is persisted in the structure file. Also need to update the code to read it again then. Boop. Cool. Yeah, that happens, Spooderman. It took a long time before I got people that would watch Persist on a regular basis. You just gotta keep with it. It takes a long time. Long time. To get a good audience going. So that's something for down here. These two are what we need. And this is like a nice to have for a weekend. Oh, we need an archery range. The structure's not there. There will be no archery range in the game. There will be no archers in the game until we do that. The startup resources would make my life from a troubleshooting perspective much easier if we had that allocated somehow. But in order to do that, we need to do network packets from the button back to the server to say that that button was clicked and that it is doing X, Y, and Z. So let's take a quick peek at what we're doing. What really annoys me is when someone is chatting with you and they just leave without saying anything. It happens. Like CZ was able to say I gotta take a phone call, but he could have just took the phone call. Life happens. But I understand your frustration. Okay, so there's the ready button. There's the start button. Oh, we do have a handler. Ooh, we have a packet already being sent. Fancy, fancy. We just don't have the button coded in yet. Set player ready, sends back to the client that blah blah blah. Okay, so if we did this, GUI button lobby start, and not set ready, but utilities something dot start game. Don't know if we need anything other than start game. It can't go to it because we haven't created it yet, so let's create that method and then go to it. Cool. Get rid of this. What do we need to do when we start? We need to change the game mode. Probably before that we need to close the GUIs. We need to spawn, send players to spawns. It's probably not going to do that for our first round. We're just going to let everybody move, basically. Set game modes. players. And then we need to, gosh. Give players items. Give teams resources. Okay, let's focus on that last one. So we can go to each team and give them a resource, right? So we can say, well, we don't have a reference to world here. We have a server world dot world. No, there's nothing static about that. Okay. Where we call this from, do we have a reference to the world? We have a reference to the player. Server player entity. Okay, so let's get a reference to the world to world. Okay, and then in here we can say world. World. Okay, so now we can say world.get scoreboard .get teams, and that is a scoreboard player team. Score player team. Score player team teams equals that, and then we can loop through that list. Okay, so we can do a for loop over a collection, over our teams collection. Why is this there now? Cast is score player teams. Oh. Oh, it's a collection. Oh, derp. Like that. That's what it wants. Okay, and then we say type, so that's this and this, and now we've got a team. And our team can be like that, and we want to get its name. And that'll be a string team name. And this team name we can throw up against our adding resources thing. So we first need to get the resources we want. Resources. Team info. Resources. No, we don't want that one. We want a team property. Right? Nope. I think they're just stored as a, yeah, it's a team info. Yeah, okay. We want to set the resource array. So we need another method that says get starting resources, and that just returns an integer array. Get starting resources. And that'll be a int array of, say, temp resource equals this value, right? So we're going to create this thing down here. Public static void, nope, int array. Get starting resource amounts. And it's going to return new, we're gonna do this, so temp int array temp equals new int array of whatever length, team info dot resources dot values dot length. Right, so that'll give us the number of resources that are possible. So we'll have one for each one. Okay, so now on our config, lots of stuff to do here. We're going to set up a series of integers. What are these going to be? Starting resources. Config start. Find in the selected lines, we're going to look for Archer. I'm going to replace it with start. Replace all. Okay, so now we've got those defined. We need to set up another section like this and call it starting resources. Set up starting resources config. I'm gonna put that right there, let's say. I'm going to define this as not to say minions, but instead to say starting. Minion. Starting. Amount. Okay, and then minion is starting. No, don't replace it everywhere. Crap. Good thing I typed wrong. Okay, there we go. And then we can just go and replace unit cost in this with nothing. Defines the starting, so the cost will be the starting amount. Nope. Eclipse, stop screwing with what I'm selecting so that I can do this faster, please. See, it's changing this to all. Yeah, don't want that. There. Defines the starting amount in food. In wood, in gold. Yep, sure. We will go with that. Okay, so that is our values. Then we need to change this from minion to start as well, I guess. Minion. Start. Selected lines. Bingo. Okay, so now we can use these. Over in utilities. So we can go and say what? Team info, get really need to do this different, don't we? Get resource array, set resource array. But we're not having anything that's really saying for a specific resource. Get resource, set resource. We can set the resource for that. For each one of these from the amounts. Hardcode likes it crazy. Don't like it, but we're gonna do it. It's not static though. So we gotta create a whole team info. Team info. TI equals this. New. Team info. ti.set resource and the resource name and then that config option. So config dot whatever that first one was. Config really? I'm dumb. It's not unit cost. We want to get rid of those words altogether. So anywhere it goes config unit cost through start, we're going to find and replace that with config start AMT. There we go. Now we can go back and do food. Resources dot food. Okay, what don't you like now? Oh, dot get. And then we just return. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. We need ti.get what the heck? We have a get starting resource amount? What the heck? No, that's this one. How does that even work? Team info dot ti dot. Okay, it's airing off like crazy. That's gonna mess with the compiler. Dot. Return ti dot. That's what we want. Okay, so that gets us the array that we're going to use for all of the teams, right? And I'll add in the other items here in a second, but then on that team, we need to put this into something, right? Utilities. It's gotta be utility I created for this. Utilities dot team resource. Add resources to team. There's nothing for all of the resources. Cool. I might as well just do it in this. Send team info to client. Yeah, so we definitely want to use something that's going to call that, but we need one that sets them all instead of just adding to it. Another method, yay! Set resources of team. And it's just going to be an integer array. Int array AMTS. And we've got ti add resources, so we're going to do ti set resources array AMTS. Ta-da! And then we call this from our last method. Give it the team name and our temp resources. Cool. And then down here, we add our other, what is it, 6 resources, whatever they are. I don't know. We got food, wood, stone, iron, gold, diamond, and emerald. Just needed to update these then. Emerald, diamond, gold, iron, stone, wood. Cool. And then we go to back to the configs one last time, and we set these amounts to what they actually should be, which is on a piece of paper on my desk. So we should start with 100 food, 100 wood, 75 stone, 50 iron, 50 gold, 0 diamonds, 0 emeralds. So we're calling start game where. Make sure I did this. The GUI lobby handler, GUI lobby, that is called by run of this network packet, and this network packet creation is called by the on press event of all of these buttons, and it's passing in the button ID to all this, and the button ID is what triggers that it's a start versus a yellow button or red button or ready, whatever. Okay, let's run this once and see if it works. See if we get resources immediately as soon as we push the start button. And then I probably gotta call it night, guys. This works. We still need to do those other things in the startup event that I wrote down. But we're not quite ready for that yet. Does anybody watching know if Minecraft Earth, the mobile app, is out for Android, or is it only an iOS thing? I have someone asking me. Okay, so let's pick Team Yellow. We're gonna ready up, then we're gonna hit start, and we have 100, 100, 75, 50, 50. We did it all right, but that last one, dang it. Why did I do that? Oh man. Why did I type 50? It should be 25 for gold. And that makes it harder to test because now it's saved to the config. So we're going to delete the configs. It's going to be this one. Yes. Okay, so let's restart the game one more time. And run. So what's new in Stream Deck? Stream Deck 4.4 comes jam-packed with new features. Multi-action switch, similar to hotkey switch. Multi-action switch alternates between 2 multi-actions. Example below: 1 multi-action for start streaming. Second, I have one to start streaming. I don't have one to stop streaming. That would be awesome because it takes me like 5 minutes to close everything. Upon the first tab, multi-action key will launch our intro scene. Tweet that we were. I didn't tweet that we're live. We need to tweet that we're live. Second tap, like I have to do that manually. Second tap will launch our closing scene, turn off the lights, and a third tap will relaunch our going live multi-action. You get the picture. So it switches back and forth. That's cool. Sound applies random action triggers at the random action. Okay, cool. One of the Stream Deck profiles on another. What? Oh, I used 2 Stream Decks. I only got 1. Sound output options, backup all profiles, Wirecast, games? Interesting. Cool. I'll have to get that after I'm done streaming. I didn't think about tweeting from it. That's a good idea. But that prevents me from customizing it though too. So I like to make the tweets not just automated, like I make them different every night. Yellow, ready, start. And we have the other bug. Okay, I'm done for the night, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you
subscribe now.
and I will catch you next time tomorrow. Bye.